What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another edition of the Smark Moment Smack Talk podcast. We just got done talking about the future endeavors forecast, about the people that we think are going to leave WWE this year. So we got the bad out of the way. Let's go to the good side of things, the one to watch. This is the people that we think are going to do a good job this year, the total opposite of completely leaving WWE. I'm your host, as always, Tony Mango, and joining me as always are Robert T. Felice.
Hello.
And Callum Wiggins.
Sup?
What's up is some of these careers, potentially. So, obviously, the same as we usually do here. We want you to chime in with your thoughts in the comments below, whether it's just to reply to our ideas and tell us your thoughts on what we think, or it's your own lists. So, hop on over to the YouTube channel, subscribe if you haven't done that already, ring that little bell for the notifications, hit the like button on the video, drop a comment below and tell us your thoughts. Very quickly, I'm going to get my plugs out of the way for a couple other things. If you want us to do more of these kind of things and maybe kind of track the one to watch or something, then check out the Patreon and consider donating to that. Whether it's $1, $5, $10, $20, $200,000, I don't know, whatever it is you got, whatever spare change you got is greatly appreciated. And if you want us to do anything in particular, then the Pick Your Poison tier is what that's all about. The Dark Cast is going to happen at some point this year as well, so that's another thing that might tie into some of these things. But there's that. There's also the merchandise shops on TeePublic and Redbubble. And obviously, if you have not checked out the Future Endeavors forecast, go back and check that out. I think we should just roll along here. We're actually a little bit pressed for time, so I'm going to skip along with a couple thoughts of mine. I might put some more on the website, so if you potentially want to check out some more thoughts that I have, I might end up having some more content there. But we are recording this in advance. It's December 28th. So who knows what might change in the time frame between when we do this and when we get this posted up. For instance, one of them being the fact that Andrade had won the United States Championship at the Madison Square Garden show. Now, if we would have recorded this a little bit in advance before this, then we wouldn't have known that. But I feel like he won that United States title to give it a good reign for the next couple of months. I feel like he's going to drop it at WrestleMania to Aleister Black, and I'm going to tie these two together. I feel like Andrade could be the guy who beats Brock Lesnar, and he might become the WWE champion at some point this year. Whereas Aleister Black, he wins the United States Championship down the line and has a good run with that. By the time 2021 comes around, main event level. Now, for that matter, very quickly, I wanted to mention this. One to watch doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's doing a breakout year, as in they're like NXT and they break out for the first time. It could be that, but it doesn't have to be that. So it could be, Andrade we've seen and Aleister Black we've seen. It could just be that this is the year they really start to pick up the pace or make it to that next level, or like Becky Lynch, she was pretty much the one to watch for 2019. She blew up, she dominated, that kind of a thing. So, what do you guys think about the whole Aleister Black and Andrade thing?
Andrade, I could see. I don't know whether I can see him at the main event level just yet by the end of 2020. It's definitely potential because they need a top Latin American star, but I don't know whether they would push him that quickly towards the main event level. Now he's the United States champion, he can hold that for quite a while. I could see him trading it back and forth with people towards for half of the year, maybe even longer than that. Before, I think really the top thing that actually going back to the Future Endeavors forecast, if Rey Mysterio was to leave at the end of the year for whatever reason, then realistically Andrade's big role this year could be to retire him, quote unquote, retire him from WWE. If they wanted to go along the lines of, okay, we're going to end Mysterio's WWE run, you'll go in the Hall of Fame, and then that's kind of it. But I don't really see him as world championship just yet, maybe 2021. Aleister Black probably will be United States champion, will probably be a top name in the mid-card for most of 2020. I don't know whether I'd class that as breakout, considering the level that he was at NXT, but it's definitely better than what he was throughout 2019.
So I'm going to go ahead and disagree with Tony on the Aleister Black being the guy who beats the guy to beat Brock Lesnar. Andrade strikes me as a guy who, if he's going to win the big one, it'll be on SmackDown. But I do think he will hold the title, the United States title that is, through WrestleMania, and I think he'll lose it in some sort of triple threat or 4-way to Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black, and insert random third name here. But I do agree Aleister Black will win a mid-card title, and he is one to watch this year.
Watch Andrade drop the belt to Mysterio in the next episode of Raw.
And
Right, it might happen.
Yeah.
Then we'll on the 30th we'll be like, all right, well, 2 days later or something, we're gonna upload this thing and be like, he's great.
We'll do the hot tags like, hey, our one to watch was stupid.
Technically speaking, he's not my official one to watch, but I got a couple ones to watch. One to watches. Whatever you want to call it.
Watches.
Stop me if you want to talk more about them, but I want to kind of rattle off a couple quick names that I feel are sort of obvious and maybe don't even need all that much discussion. Street Profits, I think, will have a good year. Raw Tag Team titles.
I feel like they might do the thing they did with Enzo and Cass and hotshot Montez Ford too quickly.
Maybe.
So I would put Montez Ford as a definite one to watch, but hopefully they stick them together and keep them going for the rest of the year.
I feel like Shayna Baszler is going to win that Royal Rumble, possibly win the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania, but this isn't going to be like her year where she dominates and everybody goes crazy over her.
I think she's definitely top heel on Raw.
Yeah, I think that I think she will be a women's champion on the main roster at some point next year. I don't know if it'll be Raw and SmackDown just yet, because they probably could both use her, but maybe she wouldn't be as prominent as she potentially could be.
I feel like Isaiah Swerve Scott's going to win that Cruiserweight title. Maybe that's it, but they seem to like him quite a bit.
He's good. Swerve is good. They can do so much more with him than the Cruiserweight title.
I kind of see Kushida being more likely as the next Cruiserweight champion.
It's one of those.
He could also do so much more than the Cruiserweight title.
Oh yeah, they both could do a lot more, but they might just use that as a stepping stone to move up to, because essentially it's like an NXT third championship now.
Yeah.
So
I'm running with this. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, just use that as a stepping stone to get towards, then it's North American champion, and then it's potentially fighting for the world title. I don't really see either of them being world champion by the end of 2020, though.
No.
I'm running with this until they prove me wrong and they make him the Funkasaurus, but Bronson Reed. He's so good. Like, for whatever reason, I look at him and I see a star, and I think 2020 will be the beginning of that.
I feel like there's a good chance that he goes somewhere, but I don't know if this is going to be a year where he goes crazy.
Yeah, I feel like he's firmly entrenched at the moment as like guy who people kind of know now, but is jobbing to the actual prominent guys on the roster. Mm-hmm. And then probably by the midpoint in 2020, he'll start beating new guys that are coming up, and then he'll start getting the like little bits of a push. He'll get an actual character that defines him, and then he'll be able to move forward.
WWE could screw it up, but if they really do it well, Kevin Owens could have a great year. I don't know if I'd really constitute him a one to watch, though, because I really kind of feel like they're going to screw it up. But I would love to see them really go a long distance with him, have him beat Brock Lesnar at Mania, have him have a long title reign, be the WWE champion and the top guy on Raw, really be like another Stone Cold-esque type person. I don't think he's going to reach that level, but I just don't trust that WWE is going to do it. So, can't put him on my list 100%.
I don't think that there's ever a year where you can rule out somebody like a Becky Lynch anymore. I mean, she won't be as hot as she was this year, but she's still got to be the top star, theoretically, right?
I mean, theoretically, but she's also already kind of had that thing. It's like, how long can you be a one to watch if you're already the one that people are watching?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Like, I don't think that the fact that Roman Reigns could win the title from Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania makes him the one to watch this year.
Yeah, 2021 to watch. Just putting out there, Brock Lesnar.
That's so true.
For that matter, that's why I also don't think that there's a whole lot to talk about when it comes to Rhea Ripley. I feel like, yeah, she's going to dominate the women's division in NXT, and she might even come up to the main roster at some point towards the end of the year or something like that, but it's a guarantee, so...
Yeah, she's already there.
Yeah. What's there really to talk about with that? She's going to do a great job, and that's it. I feel like, for that matter, too, Bianca Belair or Io Shirai will beat her for the title, and then they'll have a really good year. So that's another thing.
Yeah, I think Io Shirai potentially. Io Shirai, I could either see being the person to beat Rhea Ripley for the title, or she gets bumped up to the main roster quickly and forms now a trio with Asuka and Kairi Sane.
I can see that. Or replaces one of them if one of them goes, or something like that. Like, yeah, I can see that being the case.
One that's like more, I guess I would say obscure because people know who she is. But what do you think about Scarlett Bordeaux?
Interesting. I haven't seen, when I start to see the vignettes and I get a feel for what they're gonna do with her, then I feel like I'll be able to say if she's one to watch.
Because I just feel she's an interesting question mark because her character was so in Impact Wrestling and in the independent circuit, it's been about she's the smoke show, she's into the fact that she hot shames people, like people that hot shame her for being being very like sexual in her characteristics. I don't know what WWE and NXT is really going to do with that character because it seems like very much outside of what the PG era stood for.
I think they're going to botch it.
They probably will.
But hold on. Because Lana is very rooted in sexuality. Mandy is very rooted in sexuality. And it looks like Liv Morgan is going to be rooted in sexuality.
Well, see, Liv Morgan's on my list. But I just don't know what the hell they're going to do about all that. And I got a feeling that they might be teasing this idea and she's going to come out and be all like, oh, I'm wearing this weird makeup and all this other kind of shit. And I'm not actually...
like a Brodus Clay? Where it's like, I'm gonna kill you, and then, oh shit, look, it's the Funkasaurus.
Not in like a funny way, but more of like, this is the real me, I'm dark and edgy, and that's gonna be like, a lot of people that think that Liv Morgan's hot and that she has nothing other than her looks are just gonna go, well, she's Ruby Riott now, or something.
See, but they seem to be going with the, I tried to be a Ruby Riott, but that's not really me.
That's so up in the air right now that I have no idea what they're going to do with Liv Morgan. With Scarlett, though, I kind of feel like they're going to tame everything so much that it's just not gonna...
like it's not what made her like prominent in the first place. It's going to like reduce her impact.
It's going to neuter the whole thing. Yeah, but she has one to watch because she's hot.
She's real.
What about more like Shotzi Blackheart then?
She could have a good year. I don't think she's going to win the title, but she'll make an impression. She's cool.
I like her.
There's a lot of talent on the NXT women's roster, so it's kind of hard to make a name, but some of them will have to end up going up to the main roster eventually, you'd have to reckon, and it needs freshening up, so Shotzi Blackheart will definitely be someone to add to that, including people like Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo, Scarlett Bordeaux, people, just people of that ilk.
I'm an advocate for Chelsea and Deonna to just skip NXT completely.
It might
happen.
Like
how Liv did.
Yeah, it might happen.
I mean, they already have, haven't they? They've wrestled more on Raw than they have on NXT.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, they did classify them as NXT people, though.
Yeah, that's true.
But the fact that Zack Ryder's there, Chelsea Green, they're engaged. They're going to get married at some point this year, I think. So, could happen. I feel like it's doing an injustice to lump these two guys together and kind of sweep past them, but we are kind of running short on time, so I do kind of want to not do 45 minutes worth of talking about their potentials, but we could, if that's how good these two are. Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee. These two, the sky's the limit for them, and I really feel like they're going to kick some serious ass in 2020. I don't have them as my one to watch, though.
Keith Lee in particular is heavily involved in that movie, that WWE Netflix movie. So he's really one to watch.
He almost was my one to watch, and just by the narrowest margin, I picked somebody else. But Keith Lee in particular, I mean, he's going to fucking destroy this year. And Dijakovic, he's not quite at that same momentum level right now, but I feel like he's just a future main eventer waiting to happen too.
If I had the power to book in NXT, and it's probably good that I don't because NXT is good enough already, so it doesn't need me trying to position people. But Keith Lee is the guy who wins the NXT title from Adam Cole at the WrestleMania show. Whether it is well, because there's been rumors going around that NXT is going to have a presence on the actual WrestleMania card alongside the Takeover stuff. But I think Keith Lee will definitely be NXT champion for a while this year. I would like to have Dominik Dijakovic at the level below, like North American champion, but be like this big fighting North American champion who just almost has like an open challenge policy for a while.
Mhm.
Maybe he uses that to go from the babyface that he currently is, turn him heel down the road, because he can probably play both very well. And as a much bigger guy, it's probably well, they're both bigger guys, so it's difficult to be a big dominant guy for a while and also be a babyface, because eventually people get bored of it. Only certain people. I think Keith Lee can pull it off just because he's so charismatic, but Dijakovic, I feel by the end of the year will be a heel again, and will probably be feuding with someone who's a lot faster and smaller than he is, like a Kushida or a Swerve Scott or something like that. I would also say that Matt Riddle should probably be in a more prominent position in 2020, and I don't believe that will be in NXT. I think he'll be moved up to the main roster pretty quickly.
It wouldn't shock me. Yeah.
I feel like the one thing that maybe Matt Riddle will have this year is a match with. He's got to have a match with Goldberg at some point.
I hope so.
They have to do that.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think they do it.
I don't bank on it happening, but they'd be stupid if they didn't try to figure out a way.
Yeah, it's a really missed opportunity if they don't do it. And if that's to happen, they need Matt Riddle. They're not going to do it while Matt Riddle was in NXT, so they need to move Matt Riddle up to the main roster to do it. And Goldberg isn't getting any younger, so he's got to have this match, I would say, at the very latest by 2021's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But if not, then maybe SummerSlam this year or Survivor Series.
So I have two people left. This is if you want to make it the breakout star, I'll go with the one guy. If you want it overall, I'll go with the other guy. But I'll hold off on that because I want you guys to toss out your other names. If you guys say my names, then I'll reveal them. But what other ones do you guys have?
In terms of some people from like the developmental side, I've got Ridge Holland as a potential like breakout name in NXT UK.
Great theme.
I've got Jorge. Is it Jorge Bolle? I think is in the developmental thing. Is the El Hijo de Fantasma or what was his name? King Cuerno.
Yeah.
In Lucha Underground, who most people aren't aware of just yet, but if you have seen him, you know that he'll probably rise up the ranks pretty quickly in NXT because he's a very, very talented high flyer. I have Dio Madden in mind as well. If he has reverted back to just being a wrestler, you have to assume that he probably will get pushed at some point, maybe towards the end of the year, but he probably won't be a world champion or anything like that, especially not by the end of 2020. But there must be some reason why he's no longer doing commentary on Raw and he's gone back to actually working live events. Other names in NXT UK, probably the two most prominent for me are Ilya Dragunov, because I imagine he might be the person they have to beat Walter just because of a David versus Goliath thing. And Piper Niven, because she should be the NXT UK Women's Champion at some point in 2020.
I think she might be championed by Blackpool.
Yeah, I think she's winning a Blackpool.
Yeah, I think that she'll win it the next one afterwards. I think they'll keep it on Kaylee Ray for a little while. And they'll have Piper Niven chase it. But this is an opportunity for them to have, Kaylee Ray beat Toni Storm. Toni Storm leaves, goes to NXT proper or goes to the main roster, and then they continue the feud between Kaylee Ray and Piper Niven. Other names, Mansoor maybe. I mean, he's going to get at least two prominent matches in 2020.
Yeah, he's one to watch for any Saudi Arabia show. Super Showdown and Crown Jewel, he'll win.
Have you got anyone else, Rob?
I'm gonna say Dakota Kai.
See, funny. I have Tegan Nox on my list.
I don't know when she's coming back. That's the only reason I don't have her.
Well, I feel like they're both going to be pretty intertwined for at least part of 2020.
Could they be the female Gargano and Ciampa?
Maybe.
They're
both very talented. So
yeah, I don't see why not. Any other ones? I have someone on my list who's not currently signed to WWE.
Killer Cross?
Killer Cross.
Killer Cross, yeah.
I know nothing about
I want to say him, but he's got MLW in February. I don't know when they're going to sign him, and I don't want to just be like, yeah, he's no one to watch in WWE because I don't know if he's going.
No,
I
no,
know
I'd
nothing about the guy, so I can't be like, he's so great in the ring, and he's a name.
I don't want to say like he's definitely not my one to watch because he's not signed yet, and we have no idea whether he will be. But he's someone who I'm pretty sure WWE and AEW and a lot of other top promotions will be like bending over backwards to try and sign at least by the end of 2020.
So what do you think? Round out our lists with our main picks?
Yeah,
sure.
All right, so if I'm going my breakout, somebody who hasn't made it yet, and they're going to really take those first steps, Austin Theory.
Good pick.
This dude's going to have a great year, I think. I fully expect him to win the North American title at some point in this next year, if not higher. I think that they are going to quickly push him towards the top of NXT, and whoever moves from NXT to the main roster in whenever they move him, maybe it's going to be in April, maybe not necessarily, he's going to slot in there and be one of those main guys. Another guy who's like sky's the limit, it seems.
For
but
my breakout,
oh, you
real
want to
quick,
do that? Go ahead, yeah.
Arturo Huas. They were running vignettes. I've seen this dude at Evolve. He's going to be something special, and I think he might even be a good match for Matt Riddle on a takeover.
He's cool. I like him. Huas.
So let's get on with it. Your one to watch is Tanara. Let's go.
No, my one to watch for 2020 overall is Velveteen Dream. I feel like when he comes back from his injury, he's going to make sure that people realize how much they missed him. And he's potentially going to go to the main roster and go to Raw and be an actual pet project. But he might not even need to do that. He might just stick around in NXT and just dominate in NXT. And whether he is winning the NXT championship or he goes to the main roster and he becomes like Intercontinental champion or something like that, I feel like this is going to be the year where we go, okay, Velveteen Dream in 2019, he made sure people knew who he was. In 2020, he made sure that he made it to like solidify himself. And 2021, I think it's going to be a great year for him too. But
I'll be honest, if he's healthy and Cena wants to go, I think Cena handpicks him.
It might be the case, yeah. I really feel like Velveteen Dream's going to have a really good year. Of course, it depends on his back injury, but, you know. If not, then, hey, Austin Theory, Keith Lee. It's one of those three.
My main one to watch, and this might seem a little odd, but I
Bronson
really...
Reed.
No, it's... I do think he's going to have a good year, but he's not my one.
Primo. It's Primo. It's definitely Primo.
No, it's Epico, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, I did. That would be epic. But no, my one to watch this year is going to be for the female side because I think she's had a lot of potential and they haven't tapped into it. It's going to be Sonya Deville's year. I just think
tumbleweeds going across the.
Listen. Now, I always come out of the left field with some of these picks, but Sonya Deville has a lot to offer. They seem like they want to do something with her, but they just haven't gotten there yet. I think this could be the year that she's at least on top of the SmackDown women's division, and I think it's well deserved.
I think she's getting built up to lose to Ronda Rousey at some point. That's gonna be it.
Potentially, I feel like I don't trust them with her at the moment, just because of the way she's been booked so far. They always blow very hot and cold with her. So,
well, Fire and Desire.
It's still potential. Yeah. It's still potential, but I feel like at the moment they're building up towards a breakup between her and Mandy Rose, pretty much.
How shitty would that be? Now I'm thinking, if it's like, well, can you go with the name Fire and Desire, and somebody else is like, I don't know, Hot and Cold.
Which one? Mandy's clearly the hot. Like...
Yeah, then it could be like, oh, Sonya's cold-hearted or something. I don't know. Like, who's your one to watch, Callum?
Well, I have two in mind, both of which aren't really huge breakouts. Because if it was like someone who's just going to break out from nowhere, I probably would go like Jorge Bolly when he finally does get onto to the NXT roster. But it's two people that I feel will have breakout years. One that's more of hope and one that's more of an expectation. The hope is Mustafa Ali. I feel like it's about time he's got some sort of championship recognition and got a bit more of like a prominent upper mid card role. Because who knows what could have happened to him if he'd been like stuck around with not gone injured when they were challenging for the WWE Championship. We got the whole Kofi Mania stuff. So hopefully he's able to get more prominence. They've done some promo work with him to build him up. Like him pursuing championship opportunities in 2020, so hopefully they follow through with that. But my big one to watch is Bobby Lashley.
Wow, I was not expecting that.
I mean, he's Lana's big one to watch too, but
I think this is the year we see. I think this angle with Lana, even though it's not been the most widely well received by fans, is generating numbers, whether it's YouTube numbers or like interactions or anything on those lines. And I feel like they're crediting a lot of that with Bobby Lashley and Lana's relationship, and just them seen as like a really big deal, even if they're not actually as big a deal as they believe them to be. But I feel like at some point this year we'll see Bobby Lashley as the world champion. So, and he'll hold it for a little while, whether that's him, whether he's the guy who's the guy that beats the guy that beats Brock Lesnar, or he's the one that beats Brock Lesnar if they decide to turn Brock Lesnar face at some point, or he goes over to SmackDown, he wins the world title there. I feel Lashley at some point will be the man for a while.
I'm gonna throw out one more just because with Kofi Mania, you never know. Keep an eye on Big E. I think one day he's gonna be world champion. I don't know if it's 2020, but I think he's always worth keeping an eye on.
It's hard to take your eyes off that package.
It is a pretty big package.
Big E Mania. Yeah, one to watch is one of those things that, we look back on the previous year and we end up going, well, we were totally right or totally wrong about certain people. And we could go on and about a lot of different names. There's a hell of a lot of talented people in WWE this year. So who knows who could break out? We didn't see Kofi Mania happening. So there could be some just random ass push, and 2 months from now we could be like, oh my god, why didn't we see that that Babatunde was going to be the world champion, or that Xia Brookside would just destroy it in NXT UK or something,
Well, it says Benoni would finally break out.
Yeah, he's
oh my god, yes, this is the year.
Maybe Lars Sullivan gets a huge push. Maybe Sheamus, when he comes back, maybe they're really banking on him being a big thing or something. Maybe this is the year Braun Strowman finally wins the world title. There's a wide range of possibilities, and we never really know. That's why it's predictions. So, yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of other thoughts. Very quickly, I don't think it's going to be Drew McIntyre's year in 2020, even though he says that it is. I feel like there's a lot of standbys that we know that we can depend on, like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and all that. They're going to have a good year no matter what. Seth Rollins will have a good year. Samoa Joe might have a really good year. Maybe he wins the world title or something. But yeah, I feel like NXT is something to really watch for sure. And I feel like one thing you're not going to be able to watch is 205 Live. So we'll see how that goes. Any other thoughts you guys have?
More 205 Live, rest in peace.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Really, it's like none of them will be having a breakout year. But yeah, it is just ridiculously hard to predict. And most of the people, it almost feels like I'm hoping that at the very least 2020 we see some more people that aren't part of the established order get pushed up towards that level, because it kind of feels like there's a slight worry in my head that we might just be in for another holding pattern year, where it's just okay, so we've got Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, Randy Orton at the top, and nobody else is really breaking through.
I mean, if we're honest, John Cena is also one to watch, because if he chooses to do anything, I think who he chooses to do it with is important.
Watch Vince McMahon. He might do something interesting.
If I could, I don't know if I would want to.
All right, well, tell us your lists, everybody. Tell us what your thoughts on our predictions, too, in the comment section below. And we'll see who ends up being right and who ends up being wrong, who ends up being completely out of the realm of possibilities and stuff by the end of 2020. Lots of things to look forward to. So follow Smark Out Moment on Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done that already. Follow us on the audio-only platforms. Check out smarkoutmoment.com. Follow Fanboys Anonymous. Check out the merchandise shops. Hit up the Patreon if you've got that. And check out what these guys have going on as well. Like what Callum's got up in his whole situation. What do you got?
Well, what I've got up in my own situation is 2001 A Wrestling Odyssey, which has come to a close after a long year. It's a long 2 years, really. I've been living 2 years simultaneously. But yeah, you can check out all of the podcasts me and Robert put together, recapping the year. And yeah, it's just a lot of great content on there, a lot of great additional content for you to check out. It's all on there on the Smark Out Moment channel. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Wigmeister14 and check out all the articles on smarkoutmoment.com, including my weekly effort, which is the Power Rankings.
And Rob?
And I have Twitter and Instagram at DudeFelice. You can check out everything I'm doing at WrestleZone.com and at Fightful.com. And yeah, that's it for me. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you enjoyed all this, and we are going to be back next week with whatever we're back with next week. I mean, we'll probably be seeing you in advance for the Superstar Scores Edge, which was sponsored by Marco as part of the Patreon. But we've got Takeover Blackpool 2 coming up, so predictions are coming up for that. Eventually, we're going to go through the fan announce table for some kind of a Royal Rumble. Then we're going to get into the Worlds Collide NXT versus NXT UK, the Royal Rumble predictions, the Q1 mailbag / the January mailbag, that kind of thing. Maybe some kind of an alternative. I don't know. There's the next couple things, then we'll see where the rest of the year takes us. But as far as one to listen to for this year, Smark Out Moment Smack Talk. Ha ha ha. So thank you for listening to this, everybody, and we will see you next time. But for now, this has been another Smark Out Moment, and we're being counted out.